It's the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. It's the union makes us strong.
We might start the official Big Bob. The ILWU, International Longshoremen and Warehouse Union over there, ILWU of the United States of America. So this is a wonderful part. This is the perfect way to end up this brilliant and extraordinary conference of members of the Maritime Union of Australia. The Hungry Mile dedication. We spoke about many things at our conference this week, about the international spirit of maritime workers, the ability of our capacity to drag ourselves out of the massive exploitation of labour. Imagine it, finger wharf after finger wharf, trading vessels sail, giving way to steam, goods coming and going. Even today is quite a broad street. The cut out of that sandstone, just the endeavour, human endeavour that would have taken, matched by the aspirations of the working men and women of the community, all the way along. Gross poverty, up into Millers Point and the Rocks, waterside workers and seafarers, coming down here and seeking employment, the bull system, the corrupt system of workers standing shoulder to shoulder in poverty, with their kids and families at home, sometimes starving, particularly through the depressions and the recessions of the late 19th century, right up to the 30s. And having a corrupt system that sought to exploit that impoverishment and exploitation. And just as the cut was clawed out of the sandstone, decent conditions of employment were clawed out of the granite of exploitation. Now that's something to celebrate, the Hungry Mile.
We agreed to certain things we were going to do to commemorate this important history. One was, of course, to have an artwork on the cliff face that would help commemorate the history. Another was sculpture throughout the precinct. We have 11 hectares of waterfront parkland, and there's plenty of opportunities for commemorative sculptures there as well. And the other was a historic walk that will be developed in consultation with the MUA. So these things will happen. We're about to announce expressions of interest for this whole precinct, and one of the good things the government's also doing is looking at bringing forward the work on building the public parkland at the northern end of this, because you know the northern end is going to be all parkland, the southern end will be more commercial development, in the middle there'll be a mixture of things, because half the site, half of the 22 hectare site will actually become public park and public domain for people. Basically the deal was a very simple one. It was called 50-50. 50% for the growth of Sydney and 50% as parkland and open space for the people of Sydney. And that's what we did here. So it's an important gesture. It's important that we continue that artistic tradition in this area. So congratulations for all your struggles, and let's make sure this is an important layer that is kept forever in Sydney. Thank you very much.
Now, we're probably only a couple of metres away from cafes that serve cafe latte and gourmet meals. There's new corporate office suites all around us. But it was here in the 1930s that maritime workers walked the mile. They were looking, they were searching, they were begging for work during the hard years of the Depression. The biggest and the strongest got work. Smaller men, older men, and union members were often turned away. That was the history that was happening here in the 30s. And then those that were turned away would tramp back along Hickson Road and Sussex Street. And as we know, and as Paddy said, and as Minister Sardor's reflected, this area became known as the Hungry Mile. Part of Sydney's soul is in this place. Part of the soul of the city is in the Hungry Mile. The experiences that people had and the lessons, the values and the remembrances that took place as a result of it. So that's why it's important that we leave our markers to the past. These are indicators that do help us understand that we are actually living history. And if we understand the living history of the past, then we make good decisions in the present and hopefully lay good foundations for the future. And that's certainly what's happening today with the official dedication of this stretch, which we honour in the memory of those who were turned away, this stretch called the Hungry Mile.
It's appropriate, as the son of a poet, that I should be asked to read his poem. Thank you very much. The Hungry Mile. They tramped there in their legions on the mornings dark and cold to beg the right to slave for bread from Sydney's lords of gold. They toil and sweat in slavery. 'Twould make the devil smile to see the Sydney wharfies tramping down the Hungry Mile. On ships from all the seas they toil, that others of their kind may never know the pinch of want, nor feel the misery blind that makes the lives of men a hell in those conditions vile that are the hopeless lot of those who tramp the Hungry Mile. The slaves of men who know no thought of anything but gain, who wring their brutal profits from the blood and sweat and pain of all the disinherited that slave and starve the while upon the ships, beside the wharves, along the Hungry Mile. But every stroke of that grim lash that sears the souls of men with interest due from years gone by shall be paid back again to those who drive these wretched slaves to build the golden pile, and blood shall blot the memory out of Sydney's Hungry Mile. The day will come, aye, come it must, when these same slaves shall rise, and through the revolution's smoke ascending to the skies, the master's face shall show the fear he hides behind his smile of these his slaves, who on that day shall storm the Hungry Mile. And when the world grows wiser and all men are at last free, when none shall feel the hunger nor tramp in misery to beg the right to slave for bread, the children then may smile at those strange tales they tell of what was once the Hungry Mile.
The Hungry Mile's our roots, it's our history. And when I started on the job, and many before me, the first thing you've done, you're taken over to the union rooms and the film The Hungry Mile was shown to you. And then that was your induction. Don't worry about anything else. The Hungry Mile was the induction. And it showed the tragic conditions on the job. It showed the abysmal occupational health and safety practices, the devastation and the way that workers on the job were treated with such a lack of dignity and a lack of respect. And really, it showed also that all those workers had, and the only thing we had to improve our positions was each other. Today, we celebrate and we bask in the fact that our street, our Hungry Mile, will forever remain as a part not only of our history, but of the future of Sydney. Thank you, comrades. And we'll go across the road to the big house and we'll all have a drink. Thank you very much for coming.